Secretary Mnuchin, thank you for joining us this morning. You know, everyone wants to know how this plan is going to affect them. You say it's all about middle-class tax cuts. So can you tell a middle-class family watching right now, family of four, earning $60,000, how much they'll save under the president's plan?
Well, first of all, let me say it's great to be here with you this morning. And this is about middle-income tax cuts. And although we're not releasing the specific numbers, this is about creating economic effects and tax cuts for the middle class. It's also about creating tax simplification so that most Americans will be able to fill out their tax returns on a giant postcard. People are tired of way too much complexity. And this is also about making business taxes competitive, which will create American jobs.
But don't the details matter? Why can't you say how this is going to affect a middle-class family?
Well, the issue is that we are working with the House and the Senate, and our objective is to turn this into a bill that will pass and the president will sign. And as you know, the details of taxes are very complicated, and we're committed to working quickly and getting this done. This is about telling the American public what the president's principles are, which are all about economic growth, jobs, jobs, jobs.
Can you guarantee that no one in the middle class is going to pay more?
That's our objective, absolutely.
Is it a guarantee?
I can't make any guarantees until this thing is done and on the president's desk, but I can tell you that's our number one objective in this.
How about the wealthy? During the campaign, Mr. Trump told me that he thought taxes on the wealthy should go up. Listen, bottom line, do you want taxes on the wealthy to go up or down?
They will go up a little bit, and they may go up, you know.
But they're going down in your plan.
No, in my plan they're going down, but by the time it's negotiated, they'll go up.
So does that still hold when the negotiations are done? Taxes on the wealthy will go up?
Well, again, the focus right here is lowering the top rate in return for eliminating deductions in special interest. And that's what we're committed to. And this is about making tax simpler and getting rid of special interest. We're way too tired of people having special interest, and making sure that we create investment.
I was asking about the impact of taxes on the wealthy. The president said there he thought the taxes should go up after the negotiations. Right after the elections, you said no absolute tax cut for the upper class. Any tax cuts would be offset by fewer deductions. Are you still promising no absolute tax cuts for the wealthy?
Again, what I'd say, that's the objective, but we're working with Congress, we're working with the House and the Senate, we're having listening sessions, and this is about turning it into a bill that will get signed.
But the objective is no absolute tax cuts for the wealthy.
That's the objective, and we'll see where we get from here.
We know that several of the provisions have the potential to benefit President Trump in a pretty big way. The elimination of the estate tax for his family, cutting the tax on pass-through businesses from 39.5% to 15%, eliminating the alternative minimum tax. So this plan right now would be a tax cut for President Trump, wouldn't it?
Well, let me just say, this isn't about President Trump's tax returns. This is about the American public's tax returns.
But we know
this is about creating economic effect for small and medium-sized businesses and making sure they have the same opportunities as large corporations.
But we know from the last Trump tax return we've seen, that was back in 2005, it shows the potential effect of eliminating the alternative minimum tax, which you're calling for right now. That year, he paid $38 million in taxes on $153 million in income. Without the alternative minimum tax, he would have paid $7 million. That's less than a 5% rate. So is that an acceptable outcome under your plan, that someone pay less than a 5% rate on more than $150 million in income?
Again, I'm not going to comment on the specifics of that. This is really about.
But I was asking about the principle.
American
on the
jobs.
Principle, 5% rate on $150 million in income, is that okay under the president's plan?
Again, let me just say, we're going to get rid of lots and lots and lots of deductions. So making assumptions as to what the impact on any person's individual taxes until we get out the details, I don't think makes sense. This is about getting rid of deductions. For too long, the rich have had special interest in deductions, and what we're going to do is lower the rates to spur capital investment. And that's what this is about. Let me tell you that the ordinary worker bears about 70% of the tax burden on business. So by lowering business tax, we're putting money back into the American workers' pockets, and we're unleashing the economics so that American businesses can be competitive, build build manufacturing plants and create jobs.
But
that's what this is about. The Trump plan is about jobs.
The only deduction you specified is getting rid of the state and local tax deduction. I just want to ask you one more time on this. The principle. This is the principle. Should someone making more than $150 million pay less than a 5% federal tax rate?
Again, the principle on this is getting rid of deductions and having fair taxes and simplifying taxes. That's what this is about. This is not about the president's taxes. This is about what's good for the American public. And let me assure you, what the American public cares about is creating jobs and economic growth. For too long in this country, economic growth has been substandard, and we're going to grow it. This is about getting to sustained 3% GDP, where we can unleash economic opportunities for American workers and for companies.
Why don't the American people have a right to know how this will affect President Trump?
Again, I'm not sure. The American public has lots of information on the president's financials. He's released more information, and people have lots of information. And the American public, you saw, people voted for the president, and
you
people
say he's released more information. He's the only president in modern times who hasn't released since Nixon, who hasn't released his tax returns. That's not more information. That's far less.
Again, this is about American jobs. The Trump economic plan is about creating jobs, 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 and economic growth. And we're tired of, in this country, having the highest business tax rates, taxing on worldwide income, and leaving trillions of dollars offshore. It's not a surprise that American business has left $1 trillion offshore. This is about bringing back that money. We've met with hundreds and hundreds of business executives who have had input into this. We're going to have more listening sessions. And this is about getting the most sweeping tax cuts and tax reform passed by this president to create economic growth.
Mr. Secretary, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.